The Stone Wars are so cool. I love it. Hey guys, and welcome back to the Everything Anime Podcast. I'm one of your host, Shinry. Here with Everything Anime Podcast, about everything from anime, manga, video games, TV shows, and a relevant topic we feel like talking about. Today's video is continuing Dr. Stone, and oh my god, guys, I have been so hyped for this since the announcement from Dr. Stone, or Senku's mouth, about Stone Wars. Like, just the title Stone Wars just sounds so fucking epic to me. And these chapters do not disappoint. So today's chapters are on 46 to 49, the beginning of the Stone Wars, introducing the start of the fight and the battle between Tsukasa and Senku's army, the Kingdom of Science versus the Kingdom of Brute Force. I forgot what they're called, the Kingdom of Stone, I guess. I don't know what Tsukasa called his army. Anyway, or Empire of Fighters, whatever. But, yeah, so when we last left off is I think Gen had told, Senku, like, Tsukasa's armor is coming, and Senku was like, okay, bet, it's time for the Stone Wars. Like, if that was a movie, that cliffhanger would have, like, everybody losing their mind. Like, just, it had me, I'm just so hyped. And this is, like, me, like, a One Piece, Naruto, Bleach fan, Yu Yu Hakusho, Rave Master, Fairy Tail, like, Dr. Stone so far has been way different than any of the manga I've read so far, and so the fact that I'm just loving it, and I even saw a tease, this might be a spoiler for me, at New York Comic Con. It was called Dr. Stone New World or something like that. I'm guessing that's an arc, just like the Stone Wars. I would consider an arc. I don't know, because it's my first time reading Dr. Stone, but you know, when you go to New York Comic Con, they hype up like the new stuff that's coming out. Like, I knew about Mob Psycho Season 3 before Mob Psycho Season 3 came out. And so, or Dragon Ball Diamond, we saw that too. Anyways, let's get back to Dr. Stone. So, when the chapter opens up, Gen tells Senku, like, hey, Tsukasa's army is coming now. And Senku's like, no worries, we got this. And I'm thinking, like, there was going to be a build-up to this war. No, Tsukasa's army is immediately here. And Gen warns that if Tsukasa or Hyoga is leading the army, just run. Like, do not try to fight them, run. Like, we don't even know who Hyoga is. We know he's like one of the fighters that Tsukasa revived, because, you know, he had the army of stone people behind him. But the fact that Gen is like, if it's Tsukasa or Hyoga, just turn, tail, and run. Just go. And then we go over to Kent Rinko, who's like guarding the village. He spots these motherfuckers. These motherfuckers are already here. And we get a tease of Hyoga cloaked in shadow. And Rinko's like, okay, I'm outnumbered. I have no time to go back to tell the village that, like, these guys are here. I've got, like, I have to protect them. And I think Genro was there too, because he kind of tells Genro, like, hey, you go tell the village, you know, Tsukasa's army's here. I'm going to fight them up. And so he corners himself on this race, because, you know, the bridge to Ishigami village is like, yeah, to get to the village you have to cross this bridge. And so Rinko, like, positions himself in the middle of this beginning of the bridge. So the only way you can get to him is like going straight at him. And Hyoga kind of compliments that. He's like, oh, you're a smart fighter, because, like, you clearly outnumber, so the only way you can, like, you know, take me on is by, or take us on is like having us come at you one by one, basically, because we can't come at you on all sides with you on this narrow path. And so this guy comes at him with the Zord, and Rinko has a spear. So a spear versus a Zord, I already knew. Sorry, sword. I say Zord. If you guys don't know, you're new to the channel, I say Zord instead of sword. I have this mispronunciation because of Power Rangers, whatever. Anyway. But I knew what was going to happen. I was like, the spear is going to reach before the Zord reaches. So he, like, jabs this guy in the face, like the first of Tsukasa's army, or Hyoga's army, Hyoga's platoon. And he takes out the guy, and I thought it was pretty funny, because I was just like, yeah, that was gonna happen, my guy. You were gonna get hit by that. And then after he's taken out, Hyoga comes out of the shadows. Hyoga looks kind of dope. I'm sorry, guys. Ooh, so distracted right now. Hyoga's design looks kind of dope. I have to compliment every character I've seen in Dr. Stone so far. They all look original and creative. I like it. But Hyoga has, like, I think it's a spear as well. I forgot what his weapon was. I think it was a spear, though. And, he knows about Rinko's nearsightedness, so he automatically, gets close to Rinko's face. And before we can even explain what happens there, we flash over to Genro reaching Senku and the others at the party. He's like, hey, Tsukasa is here. We have to, evacuate the children, get them to safety, things like that. Like, Senku, what are we going to do? And even though Senku was kind of panicking, he was also kind of ready for this moment. Well, I mean, he wasn't ready, but, he's not ready to back down, of course. He's like, okay, we got to come up with a plan on the fly. And Kohaku wants to fight, but her father kind of forbids it. He's like, hey, we got to protect the children and the children, because they were in the middle of a party. They're like, we got to protect the children. The children aren't safe out in the open with Tsukasa's army coming after us. And so Senku's like, all right, we'll protect the women and children here. The rest of us that can fight, we'll go help Rinko. Forward back to Rinko, he's getting his butt handed to him by Hyoga. Hyoga is clearly highly skilled. He's outmaneuvering. Well, one, he's fighting Rinko in close combat, and Rinko doesn't have the glasses on right now, so he's overwhelmed. Actually, I think Rinko did have glasses on, or maybe that was later. I'm pretty sure I made a note of it. It happens later. I got notes here as well, just if I forget something. But so he goes to fight Hyoga, and he's getting his butt whooped. And he eventually gets brutally stabbed, and he falls into the middle of the bridge. And he's telling Genro, Senku, and the others have arrived now. And he's telling Genro, cut the bridge, cut it now. I'm willing to sacrifice myself to keep these guys from reaching the village, because if we cut the bridge, they can't make it over here. And Genro is hesitant because he thinks of Rinko as a brother. So he doesn't want to do that. Give me 1 second, guys. So Senku on the fly comes with this plan. He has this I think it was an iron rod or something like that. And he filled one half of gunpowder that he still had from back when Taiju and Yu, I think her name was Yu, they had made that plan against God. They had that plan against Tsukasa when Taiju threw the rock in the air and then Yu ran at him or whatever. So he Gen automatically knows what Senku's up to, and he tells Magma hey Magma, pick up this rock and throw it as hard as you can at Hyoga's army. And Magma's why should I listen to you? I don't trust you. I don't like you. And Gen kind of talks to me. He's like, oh, well, you want to be the chief of the village? How can you be the chief of the village if there's no one to rule? And Rinko is still on this bridge dying. Hyoga's standing over him, so we're running short on time. But Magma reluctantly does it because he knows he can't take on Hyoga either. So he throws this rock. He's like, I don't even know if I can reach the other side. And Gen's it doesn't matter, just throw the rock. And he throws the rock at the same time that Senku sets off the gunpowder, and they collide just outside the water. But it makes a loud enough explosion to make it sound like they have firearms, like they have guns. And so Senku coolly replies hey, we got firearms in the kingdom of science, so if you guys want to still fight, you're more than welcome. And this, of course, scares off Hyoga's army because they're hey, they got guns. We can't fight these guys if they have guns. So they run away, but Hyoga kind of remains behind. He's like, okay, I've now confirmed that you're alive, Senku, and so Tsukasa will be happy about this. But if I kill you, he'll be just as happy. But either way, this information is good for me. It makes it look good. What doesn't make him look good is he had to run. But if it's just Hyoga by himself with his army running away, believing they have firearms, then he has no choice. So they end up retreating. And I was wondering if Gen will be exposed for this because Gen is the one I think that says oh, they have firearms, guys. We have to run. We have to retreat. And I guess Hyoga didn't catch on just yet. He does catch on in these chapters, but he didn't catch on just yet. And let's see. Oh yeah, the end of that chapter is really cool. He tells Hyoga in response to him saying Tsukasa be happy with this information. Senku is smiling. He's oh yeah, go tell Tsukasa. Tell him the kingdom of science is thriving and that we're ready for whatever he's got. And then we get this cool back shot of of like Tsukasa looking out. It looks really dope. I can't wait to see the anime. Oh goodness, guys. Sorry, I got a lot of notes here. And when Senku tells him this lie, he's like, tell Tsukasa we have 10 billion guns, which again is like Dr. Cone's thing is like 10 billion or 10 billion%. He's like, tell Tsukasa we have 10 billion guns, so if you guys want to fight, like, you know, you're more than welcome. We have enough guns to take you guys down. Really, really great, really funny. Oh yeah, so then following this, we treat Rinko's wounds. Like Dr. Stone gives him something. He got like a fever reducer. Like I said, Dr. Stone's like really complicated when it like explains like a lot of things at once. So I didn't really understand like everything that was going on. But basically, he like heals, he treats Rinko's wounds to the best he can do. And he's like, oh, Rinko will be better in like 72 hours, something like that, like a short amount of time. And the villagers was like, what? There's no way. And then like within those few hours, Rinko was like up building, like fixing like the bridge and all that. And the villagers are like, what? You're actually healthy? And then like seconds later, he's like coughing up blood. They're like, you're not actually healthy. And it's like really stupid gag humor, but I like it. It's unique to Dr. Stone, like how One Piece has his gag humor, Bleach has their gag humor, and Naruto has his gag humor. I like it. Like they're like, hey, he's actually healed. Senku, you healed him just like you said, and you would kind of believe it because remember how like they had gave Kawaka's sister Ryuri that medicine, and then she's like immediately up running around at full speed. He calls her like a monkey or an ape. So I thought that was pretty funny, but like, yeah, he's not fully healed. It was just like treated like basically the pain. And let me see what else we have up here. Oh yeah, the reason why Rinko is like fixing the village despite still feeling weakness because he's like, look, it's my job to guard the village. Like regardless, Tsukasa's army is gonna come back. They are not gone. They're going to come back, and we have to be ready for it. And Senku already has another idea. Because he's like, you're right. They are going to come back. And so he goes over to Koseki and whispers something in his ear. And Koseki's like immediately like hyped up by something. He's like, all right, I got this. Let's do it. We flip over to Hyoga and... God. Okay, so we go to... we go to Hyoga's army side of the village. They haven't gone back to Tsukasa yet. They're not ready to report back to them. And half the villagers are like, hey, let's just go tell Tsukasa, like, they got firearms. They, like, overpowered us. But if we come back with a bigger platoon, we can take them down. And then Gen is like, well, that's one of the men. And then Gen is like, you know, why don't we just wait for a storm? We can use that as cover and attack them. And Hyoga's like, I don't like either one of those plans. I have a plan of my own. And he's like, basically, we're going to attack again. Like, immediately. And if some of you die, no big deal. You guy, I'll get to learn their strengths and weaknesses. But if you guys win, then that's also good news for me because Tsukasa will have Senku's head. So he's like, you guys are pawns. You're disposable. I don't... As long as Tsukasa and me survive, the rest of you can like die. You're like pawns to us. And you're gonna get a mirror to that with the Ishigami village in a second. And there's some other gags where like Gen trying to like look at Hyoga's weapon, and he picks it up for a second, and Hyoga's like, put that back down unless you want to die. And Gen immediately backs away. He's like, oh no, I'm gonna back away. And we learn later that was because of something else, but I like that. That's like, you'll see what I mean by planting seeds. He planted seeds with that. And so we go back to Ishigami Village, and this is where Rinko gets the glasses, and he does like a cool pose, and like all the characters like awed by it. I thought they were gonna make fun of him, but they're like awed by his glasses. It was really cute, really cute. Also, you get this mirror image, like I said, like the chief of the former chief of the village is like thankful that like everybody survived. Like the women and children are okay. He's like, hey, I'm so glad no one was hurt in this battle. And it's like a mirror to show like Tsukasa and his army, Tsukasa doesn't care about his army. He just cares about being the strongest and like taking down Senku's Kingdom of Science. Like he wants to be the like strongest, like basically a dictator. Where Senku is like, I'm going to rebuild the world back to the way it was. I'm going to protect as many people as I can. So it's like a mirror. Like Senku and his Ishigami armors and Kingdom of Science are good, whereas obviously Tsukasa and Hyoga and their army are evil because like they're willing to sacrifice their pawns. They're not even their friends. They're like army to like just kill Tsukasa, take down the Kingdom of Science, like make sure like they always stay at the top, the dictators of this world. And this is where he whispers into Koseki's ear something that gets the old man really pumped up and hyped, and it's a really cool reveal that happens later. I'm not going to talk about that just yet, but yeah, it's really cool. And he's got a nice butt for an old man. Like, they show his butt for a second. I know it's anime, but I was like, ooh, yeah, old man got a nice little butt. There is a time jump where we go back 3 days later, and already, once again, Tsukasa's army is ready to attack the village. And this time, at the same time, the storm is actually brewing over the village. Like, there's actually a storm coming, so Hyoga considers this the perfect time to attack. He's like, this is perfect. We got cover. Let's go. Let's attack. And let me check my notes really fast. Make sure I don't miss anything. Oh, yeah. So, Senku is the one guarding the bridge. And when Hyoga's army attacks, he pretends to be like afraid, but then all of a sudden his allies jump out of the shadows. And this is really cool panel. Like, I think it was like Kohaku, Genro, Kenro, Kohaku, and Senku, and they all have katanas. And it kind of blew my mind that was the weapon they were building, but it looks so clean. The panel is so dope. It's so amazing. I'm going to make sure I show that panel. And I can't lie, I got kind of hyped about that. Whew. And we get a brief explanation about how katanas, like how they're made and what their significance is to Japan. And I love that Hyoga even praises Koseki about like making the katanas, and Koseki kind of takes it to heart. He's like, thank you. You know, you're our enemy, but I appreciate that. I'll check my notes real fast. And then the following scene, the Kingdom of Science obliterates their strong weapons. Like Hyoga's army, they had these spears and stuff like that, but their katanas immediately take them out. And I think they go into like some explanation, like they're not fully made katanas because like they can still bend and stuff like that. Because at some point, Kohaku is gonna jump off one of the katanas, which in a really cool scene, like Wonder Woman. But they take out like their stone weapons easily. It was a really cool panel. Like, guys, if you are not reading Dr. Stone at this point, I'm telling you, read Dr. Stone. It's so good. Let me see what else I have to say. So, Hyoga's army immediately flees after their stone weapons are destroyed. They're like, we can't do anything against these guys. These guys and their weapons, the Kingdom of Science is too powerful. And so they flee, but Hyoga remains behind. And Kenro makes this stupid joke about the power of glasses. Like, he's like, the power of glasses is really, it's like OP or something like that. And it's because he can fully see with the glasses now. So this is a scene panel where Kenro gets the glasses. And so, with Hyoga being the only one left behind, he immediately goes into attack. Like, he's like, I'm not backing down. Like, you have impressive weapons, but I'm still going to fight. And so he goes to fight Magma. He catches Magma off guard pretty easily. And then I think he goes to attack, after he takes down Magma, he goes to attack Genro, I believe. But before he can reach Genro, Rinko jumps in the way and protects his friend. He uses his body as a shield, and it's a really cool moment because like it mirrors like how Genro didn't want to like cut the rope and kill Kenro. Kenro also wanted to protect his friend Genro. It's mirroring the fact that the Kingdom of Science cares about each other, whereas like Hyoga and Tsukasa's army, they don't give a shit about their friends and allies. They're like, you guys are pawns. And so this is when Kohaku jumps off one of the katanas. I think it's like Genro's katana. She jumps off of it like Wonder Woman and tries to attack her from above. She's like, okay, if I attack him from above, like, there's no way he can block this, right? He starts like stabbing at the air in like this really fast motion, and I felt scared for Kohaku at this moment because you cannot dodge in midair. If you are attacking from midair, you cannot move out of the way. And Dr. Stone might not be a battle manga, but the way that these fights have been since the manga has started has been like so incredible. I really do love it. And so yeah, she goes to attack from midair, but she can't dodge it because he starts attacking and like really fast in midair. Like basically, no matter where you come from, I'm going to pierce you through. And this is where I realized like he's like a battle tactician. Sorry guys, got some more notes here. Oh yeah, this is where so as like he's like thinking he's gonna kill Kohaku, his spear breaks in half. And this is where we get like a flashback to like Gen. He realizes, because it's like mysterious, he's like, why did my spear just suddenly break? So in this like, during the time, let me see if I put it in here. Okay, yeah. During the 3 days where they were like taking a break, like replanning to attack the Ishigami village. What's her name? Senku wanted Sukiya to deliver a message to Gen because Gen went with Hyoga's army. This is kind of off panel. During the first initial attack, after Gen's like alerts them like, hey, they have firearms, they have to flee. Gen fled with them. That's why he didn't suspect Gen yet. That's right. Gen went with them. It was kind of off screen. I kind of forgot to mention it earlier. So Gen went with them, and they were in the forest. Oh, well, I did mention Gen talking to Hyoga, telling him like, you know, like, hey, we should attack during a storm, and Hyoga's like, no, forget that. We're gonna attack sooner than that. Catch them off guard. But yeah, during that time, Sukiya was given like a small little cutting knife by Dr. Stone when she hit her helmet, and she like cuts her helmet. She was given a new helmet, by the way. Cause her helmet like looks like so obvious. Gen knew that she was in the forest, and he does like this like magic trick to like, I don't know, it like created like this like blossom of flowers from his sleeve to Sukiya, and she like threw the knife into it, and then he got it. So earlier when I said that he was planting seeds, when he goes and like grabs Hyoga's weapon, he actually cut the spear at the top of his weapon off, and then that's what he's pretending to do that's what he's doing. He's pretending to admire his weapon, and Hyoga immediately realizes this is what happens. He's like, oh, Gen, you sly dog, you're actually a triple agent. Because you'd be a double agent if you pretend to be, you're a triple agent. And Gen immediately makes his face like, it's like, not a horror anime, but like just like that, like, yeah, you caught me, fuck it, the gig is up. And it was a pretty funny panel because I know Gen's personality, but it was just like really incredible to see Gen's like, yeah, you can tell Tsukasa I'm with the Kingdom of Science. They've got the cola, they've got better weapons, and honestly, your army sucks. Senku is gonna take you guys down. And Hyoga, I think this is where he submits defeat, right? Let's see. Yeah, because then in the final panel, Gen and Sukiya and all the others are like holding their katanas at him, and Hyoga is forced to flee. And so Hyoga kind of submits defeat, but then he like, he reveals like, you know, you actually fall for our own diversion. And so we learn that during the second attack, while Hyoga was attacking from the front, facing like Senku and these other katana wielders, he had another agent like swim through the water and basically set fire to the village where the children were hiding. And this girl's name is Homura. I haven't seen the anime, so I don't know how to say her name properly. But yeah, my notes I have Homura. So she has a cool design too. She swam through the water undetected because while they were attacking from the front, she was the only lone warrior that attacked from the water. And once she got on land, she like lit a fire, set the village on fire because she knew they're more concerned about protecting the people from their first encounter. Like when they attacked Kenro and the others, and they did the firearms and all that, they realized like, hey, they were worried about protecting the people there. So if we can even get one hostage, we can like turn the tides on these guys. Well, the village is set to flames. And so now we've got Homura in the village just setting things on fire. And then we got Hyoga himself just standing before Senku and the rest of them's army. He's like, well, what are you going to do now? You know, you can either stop me here or you can protect your village. And let me see. Okay, yeah. I remember the rest of this, I believe. I shouldn't have too much more notes. Yeah, don't have too much more notes. So Sukiya takes it into her own, like, mind. Like, okay, they're obviously trying to lure out a hostage because they're expecting, like, somebody to flee out of that fire towards, like, you know, the forest, basically towards Hyoga and his army. He's like, if even one of them flee, if we can even get our hands on one of them, we can trade them for Senku, kill Senku, and the Kingdom of Science is done. That's all he wants is Senku's head. Well, Sukiya decides, like, okay, I'll be their hostage. I'm pretty fast, and I can get away. And she starts running up this mountain. Now, I'm forgetting to mention also, there is, like, this tailwind coming from the top of the mountain. So, the fire is going to spread even faster because of this tailwind. And did Homura set fire to something else? Let me check. She did something. Oh, yeah. So, Homura, when they start talking about protecting the children, Homura immediately sets fire to like where the children are supposed to be. Like Homura, you obviously can see how evil Tsukasa and his army is. Like, I mean, yeah, they don't care about their own people, but they're willing to kill women and children too that came to defend themselves. And so that's why Sukiya ran off. She's like, I'll be the hostage. I'll be the diversion. So Sukiya is running towards, do you remember that toxic lake from previous chapters where like an angel was and then she turns into like a demon? So Sukiya remembers like at that toxic lake, if you inhale that gas, you're gonna pass out and die like immediately. And so Sukiya is like, I'll sacrifice myself by luring Hyoga and his army towards that toxic gas, especially with the tailwind leading it upstream, like they'll die. Editing Tanter. I wanted to add in this insert about the drawing of the demon from the lake, or the angel demon from the lake. How it gradually got horrifying as I was reading this on the plane from New York Comic Con. Literally it made me jump, but like I was like, that is some really great detail. Like his detailed drawings and the way he like, it just perfection. The gradual change from the angel welcoming you to the lake to turning demonic, and then just full on like something from Smile. Horrifying. Great. Just wanted to add that in there. It was great. And so she's being chased by the army, believing like, oh, we can just capture her, we can trade her for Senku. And there's a hilarious panel where the angel's like holding her arms out to Sukiya, and then like as she gets closer, it becomes like all demonic faced, and she says something like deadly air or toxic air because she knows it's poison gas. And that's when Senku and Kawaku are like, hey, Sukiya, don't do it. Climb this tree. Climb as high as you can, as fast as possible. And so she does immediately. And they give her like this mask, and they're like, hey, Hyoga and your army, like that's toxic gas. If you breathe it in, you're gonna die. And Hyoga's army immediately climbs up at just before the toxic gas can like consume them. Because in my previous panel, in my previous notes, I wrote like they did get consumed in the gas, but it was kind of like vague. But they climbed up in time, and Senku made like this makeshift like quick face mask for himself, Kawaku, and Ryuri because they don't have like that full like setup they had before. It's just like a gas mask. And so they're safe from the gas, and they climb back down because they have their face and mask covered. Kawaku's relieved that Ryuri's okay. And Hyoga is like teasing Dr. Stone. He's like, how do we know this is really toxic gas? And Dr. Stone's like, well, you can either test it yourselves, you can stay up there for 10 billion seconds, again with the 10 billion joke. And I loved it because, like, you know, this is where you're going to actually see more of that ruthlessness. So, once again, as Senku and the others are getting away, Hyoga's like, well, the only way to find out if this gas is real is to test it. So he kicks down his platoon army into the gas, and immediately they die. They're choking on the toxic gas. And Hyoga is like, okay, they've created toxic gas. I'll have to report this to... Well, Hyoga and Homura are okay. He sacrificed Homura because we find out, like, she's like his right-hand man. And he's basically like, okay, I'll have to report to Tsukasa that they've got toxic gas now. And let me check my notes. I'm forgetting to mention that Dr. Stone made this like random side note that Mother Nature isn't on anybody's side. It can't be a friend or foe. It's impartial. I thought that was a cool little quote. And I compared it to like the sea. Like, you know, the sea can be our friend, but it can be our enemy too. It doesn't have a side. Like, because you can surf on the water, you can, you know, play in the ocean, it's fun, but you can also drown and it can kill you. And hilariously, Dr. Stone does take credit for the gas. He's like, it's all a part of our plan. He's like, yeah, this is part of the kingdom of science. That was another funny joke, I thought. Okay. Yeah, like I said, I mix up my notes. That's why I have my notes. Anyway, so Hyoga and Homura are like, okay, it's the kingdom of science is pretty powerful. So we'll tell Tsukasa, like, yeah, it's not going to be easy to take them down, but with our overwhelming numbers, we'll come back and attack them with even bigger army next time. We'll overwhelm them with numbers. And we flip over to Ishigami Village, and we found out, like, the children and the women are okay, because Asuki's sacrifice, willing to, like, run away and be their hostage, they were able to get the children to safety, and the chief of the village is, like, thankful that they're all okay. This is where we got the mirror where, like, they care about their friends and family being okay, whereas, like, Hyoga, Tsukasa, and Homura are willing to sacrifice their own people to, like, as long as they win, as long as they can kill Senku. And so Senku is like, we won the battle, but we haven't won the war. And Gen is like, well, what are we going to do if they attack again? Like, obviously, they're going to come back. And Senku, and he's like, should we plan for the next ambush? And Senku's like, no, we're going to attack first next. I have a plan, and I have a plan to build a weapon that's, like, was the peak of science and basically the peak of science. And I don't know what that is yet because I chose here to stop because I felt like the opening of the Stone Wars was really amazing. It was really incredible. Again, I wish I'd have to do so many notes, but there's so many things that happen, and I want to talk about it and not forget it. But I loved it, guys. I want to say, if you're not reading Dr. Stone at this point, definitely check it out. It's a very quick manga, very different than either the manga and anime I've ever read, and I've read a lot of anime and manga. One day I'm going to have a manga anime wall set up behind me so you guys can see everything I've read and currently reading. Next, we're going to go to the sponsor part of the video, but for future videos coming out, I believe next I'm doing the ranking every One Piece movie Stampede. And then after that, we have probably BioShock. I wanted to do more for Spooktober, but I went to New York Comic Con, and some of these videos take a really long time to edit and plan and do. So I'm gradually getting into it. I'm a new YouTuber. I mean, I've been on YouTube since 2010, but gradually getting there. But all right, guys, I'll see you in the next video. We're on to the sponsor part of the video, and I'll see you guys next time. Hey, guys, thanks for checking out one of my videos. This is the sponsor part of the video where I talk about the 2 new books I have coming out for this year. For the month of October, which we're calling Spooktober, I have 2 new books, Love Be Liberated and Alucard. Now, if you don't know who I am, my name is Shinry. I'm the author of the Shinry series, the Chronicles of Wayne, and the Monsterverse. The Chronicles of Wayne is finally ending this year with Love Be Damned as the first book, Love Be Caged as the sequel, and Love Be Liberated as a trilogy. Now, I don't want to spoil this book too much, especially if you haven't read the Love Be Damned series. But basically, Wayne is a nerdy kid at school. He falls in love with the hottest guy at school because, of course, he does. And the guy turns out to be a werewolf. Wayne gets bitten. He becomes the first ever wolfman in the last decade, and some craziness ensues. Vampires, white witches, dark warlocks, and a Oh, I can't spoil it because that's the reveal of the last book, the Love Be Liberated. But I can tell you, if you have enjoyed the Love Be Damned series, you are going to love Love Be Liberated. Love Be Liberated. Sorry, it is the best ending I think I could have gave it. All the characters are given justice, and the way it ends is it's kind of like a kiss to my fans that love the Love Be Damned series. Now, Alucard is the first book in the Monsterverse. It does take place in the Love Be Damned universe. However, Alucard will take place 300. It starts out 300 years before the events of Love Be Damned take place, and then when we do get to present day, it's 10 years before Love Be Damned actually starts. So you'll get introduced to Alucard, and then after that we have Jebudon, which is the Beast of Jebudon. If you don't know what that is, that's the first ever Wolfman, or first ever confirmed Wolfman. After that we have Imhotep, and then it will end with Monster, which is Frankenstein. And Imhotep being the Mummy. Again, these are my first two new books coming out this year in the month of October, or Spooktober, and I'll be sponsoring them in all of my YouTube videos for October. So I hope you guys check them out. I'll make sure to have like some copies when I actually release them. But I hope you guys look forward to it. The Love Be Damned verse is for the mature audience. It's not for like young adults. I do mention that there are language, there's sexual scenes, there's a lot of violence. Unlike the Shinry series, which is more my kid-friendly, teen-friendly anime action adventure, you want to check that out if you're like a kid. But again, this is the Love Be Damned verse, as well as now the Monsterverse, and I hope you guys check it out. Let me know what you think. Again, look out for it. Once the books actually drop in October, I'll be having a bigger releasing video for that. This is just a little teaser for that. Hope you guys check it out. Thanks. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe.